Dear church, let's talk about faith in the Fairway with Hunter Walcott. Dear church, let's talk Holy Spirit, transformation, prayer.
6 days, right?
And if you love me, you will keep my commandments.
Our culture wants to define you by your sexuality. We know that our identity is now Christ.
Hello and welcome to the Dear Church podcast. I'm your host, Chris McCurley. Excited about this week's guest. My good friend Hunter Walcott is joining us, professional golfer, and I wanted to get his take on golf and faith and all of that. And so, Hunter, thanks for joining me this morning.
Yeah, thanks for having me. Excited to do this.
Absolutely. Where are you at right now?
I'm currently in Vancouver, British Columbia. I just got in from Victoria, British Columbia last night. Last week of our season up here in Canada.
So tell us a little bit about the tour you are on and kind of how that has gone this year.
Yeah, so I play on PGA Tour Americas, which is an affiliate of the PGA Tour. It's like AA baseball for some baseball fans out there. And it's a direct feeder into the Korn Ferry Tour, which then is a direct feeder into the PGA Tour. So kind of in a stairway system into the PGA Tour. And I've had a pretty good year so far. I won an event in Lima, Peru earlier in the year, which has put me in a pretty good spot. I'm 11th on the season-long points list and top 10 after this upcoming week will get their PGA Tour card. So I'm in a good spot. Just need a good week and kind of can knock one of those big goals for the year out.
Yeah, and this has been a lifelong dream endeavor. You played at the University of Tennessee, Knoxville, and you've moved there. And much to my chagrin, because I'd rather have you around here, loved having you close. I know you and I had some good talks and, shared some meals together, and I just appreciate you so much for that. But how has the transition been, leaving Dixon, going on tour, living in Knoxville? How's all that going?
Yeah, I first and foremost, Dixon's home will always be home. Me and my fiance have acknowledged that and see ourselves moving back to Dixon. But kind of moving to Knoxville was the move that I needed to really kind of put myself in a better start for my golf professional career, and it's gone really well. I'm able to still use the University of Tennessee facilities, which is life-changing. My head coach, Brennan Webb at Tennessee, still allows me to practice out there, which is huge. Greystone is an awesome golf course, and I love my dad for allowing me to use his golf course for all the years that I have growing up. But it just kind of I needed to separate myself from some public golf and kind of really, when I'm at home, really be able to practice. So it's been a good move to be in Knoxville. Me and Sadie love it up there. But we will eventually be home. Not sure when God's going to call us back, but we're enjoying Knoxville for now.
Yeah, and I'm glad that you've made that move, because I know that's helped you. Talk a little bit about life right now. I know your fiance Sadie, wonderful young lady, played soccer at Liberty, and so you guys met a few years ago and going to be married soon. Talk about growing up. Your dad, a former professional golfer. We've actually had him on the podcast, owns the golf course here. Your brother runs the day-to-day operations out there at Greystone. Talk about how golf has been such a big part of your life and your journey up to this point.
Yeah, I mean, it's all I can really remember from the time I was born to now is, being a golf family, being at a golf course, and obviously Greystone having a huge part of that. Even before Dad started owning it, he worked there, and we were young knuckleheads going out there and just causing ruckus, me and my two brothers. So, but yeah, so I mean, all the way through grade school, we played every sport possible, but kind of always Dad made sure we learned golf. And then middle school was probably about the point where I really started to focus on it. My older brother, Ben, was kind of getting recruited for colleges around his freshman, sophomore year. So I was 6th, 7th grade. And I realized, all right, if Ben can, go to Ole Miss, and I watched his work ethic and saw what he was able to do, I was like, man, if I really kind of put my head down, I think I can do this too. And so, having Ben as a good role model, obviously Dad is a great coach. And then another huge factor for me was like my best friend, Jack Story, was another guy who wanted to play golf competitively. And so the two of us just had a lot of long days together practicing and grinding. And it just kind of becomes day to day. Like me and him would just go straight after school to practice. And he's probably pushed me on a day to day level more than anybody. I think your family pushes you in other ways, but me and Jack wanted to beat each other so bad that it really encouraged us both to get really good at golf. And so, and then started getting recruited in high school, went to the University of Tennessee. Um, and that was the best decision I ever made. I thought a lot of times I thought I was going to either uncommit, leave, transfer, but kind of gave my life to Christ when I was at Tennessee. So would never change that decision if I had to go back. And it ended up working out. Got a great coach who came and coached me my last 4 years. And then I just decided I wanted to try to do this for a living. I wanted to do what my dad did and play on the PGA Tour. And so that's the goal. And just ever since I was young, I kind of wanted to do that. And now that I'm here in this position to kind of make that dream a reality, it's kind of when you think about the full picture of like what my golf life and golf career has been, it's pretty special to be here. There's a lot of people and a lot of hard work that's kind of gone into this, and none of it's gone unthanked. And every single person who's been a part of it, I'm appreciative. Like you yourself, Chris. I mean, you've helped me so tremendously in my walk with Christ, and so I mean, there's just so many people to thank for why I'm here, and hopefully I can keep making everybody proud.
Yeah, well, you definitely are. And I want to encourage everyone to follow you as you're on this journey because it's really exciting. And, I'm a golf admirer. I don't play golf anymore. I did at one point in my life. I don't anymore. My son has picked it up. As you know, you play with Zane when he comes home, and you're so good to him to teach him and help him because he just wants to learn and be better. And so I really appreciate that. And I go with him when he goes out there and plays with you or Bob or whoever and drive the cart. And I'm floored because I was a coach, I was an athlete. I don't know much about golf, but I know good when I see it. And it's just unreal to watch you and Jack and some of these guys play golf. It's a lot of fun. Even your dad at 63 is still just, playing really, really well at a high level. It's just fun to watch. Tell me, and anyone else who is a golf fan or who plays golf recreationally, how much different is it? I mean, I know it's astronomically different, but what's something that we don't as average golf fans know that you deal with? Like how much different, how much better the players are and just the phenomenal maybe stress and the way that you have to play in order to win. It's gotta be just at a level that we can't understand, right?
Yeah, there's a lot of great players, and I think the rise and the popularity of golf has only increased that more and more. Yeah, like when I go home to Greystone, there's outside of Ben and my dad and a couple other people, there's really not a lot of people who can play near my skill level. When I'm out here on tour, every single person has the capability of beating me or losing to me on the same day. Everybody's so good. I mean, it's like that way in every sport, and it's really it turns away from who's better physically, because everybody can hit the ball pretty well. Everybody can putt it well. Everybody can chip it well, and it turns into a mental battles. Who's prepared? Who's prepared the best? Who's got the best strategy on the golf course that week, and who executes their plan to the best of their ability, and then ultimately there are some lucky breaks that go into it. Which way does the ball bounce for you? If it hits a tree, does it bounce in the fairway or bounce into the woods? Like that's a huge part that goes into a tournament when you play 72 holes. So there's a lot that kind of separates the stuff you would never see is kind of what separates probably the best players in the world from, the 100th player in the world. Scotty Scheffler is currently the best player in the world. And if you watched him and the 100th best player hit on the range, you wouldn't really think too much difference. But Scotty's the best because one, I believe his belief in Christ makes him the best, and then he's really good mentally and sets himself apart that way. So that's a huge difference, and I think it's the same way like in anything you do. It could be basketball, golf, it could be business, like that. The mental aspect of life kind of sets you apart. And when everybody has the same resume, like being able to have a different mindset, mentality, can kind of really separate you.
Yeah. Yeah. So, what are some things, if you don't mind sharing, what are some things that you have done for the mental side of things? I mean, I know you practice, I've seen you do a practice session. What do you do mentally to prepare and to keep, to stay on point throughout the season?
Yeah, I have a sports psychologist I work with. I mean, if I'm working with somebody for my golf swing, I need to work with somebody for my mind. So, Joe Whitney, he works at the University of Tennessee. I worked with him all throughout college. We work pretty routinely together. I'd say when I'm home in Knoxville, I see him at least once or twice when I'm home, and then I'll give him a call while I'm on the golf course. Um, I do my stats after every tournament, so I kind of just like chart exactly where I hit the ball, and it kind of gives me a detailed plan. And then that detailed plan can then help me strategize for the next event. And so then you kind of the night before you look at wins, you look at how the golf course might be playing to kind of get your mind in a good spot and try to visualize the next day, visualize great shots. And then there's just you can never you can never be okay with where you are. You have to always be chasing, getting better, because the moment that complacency sets in, you'll stall out and even go backwards. So trying to battle that too. I mean, that's a huge mindset thing that could really hinder you. You've really got to always be trying to like be your best version of yourself, and that's usually always looking forward. So those are a couple things.
Yeah. Yeah, it's just so interesting to me because when I go out there and for instance, if I'm riding around with you guys, if I were to hit it on the green, I'm happy. But if you guys hit it on the green and you're more than like 5 feet away from it, you get mad. It's like, talk about being so dialed in. I mean, precision, because you guys really work on distances and you know exactly how far that club's going to go. And you guys account for, wind and all these kind of things. I mean, talk about all the different factors that go into just hitting a good shot.
Yeah, I mean, the moment I step up to a golf ball, it's not just I'm 150 yards away, I'm gonna hit it at the green. It's right, what's my lie look like? Is it sitting up? Is it sitting down? Where's the wind? Into left or right, down? Where's the pin on the green? If it's tucked over a bunker, or if it's on a back edge and I can kind of roll it up to it. Do I have a downslope, upslope, side hill lie? How, like, what time of the day is it? Is it early, 7:30 in the morning? Is it 3 o'clock in the heat of the day? I mean, all these attributing factors kind of go into how far the ball is going to go. If I'm playing at altitude, 2 weeks ago we were in Edmonton, Alberta, and it was 1,500 feet. The ball goes on average 5 yards further per shot, so that plays a factor.
Yeah.
All these things go into it, and it's a big math equation every time you get to your ball.
Yeah. I guess you're not so much competing against other golfers as much as you are the course as well, right? I mean, I can't imagine that any of these courses would be easy. What's been one of the toughest courses you played?
Some of the courses down in Latin America are pretty tough. The course in Mexico City was extremely tight. It was probably 20 yards wide in the fairway, and if you missed the fairway, it was like a jungle. So that was
Yeah.
probably one of the tougher courses we've seen out here this season. Played a lot of extremely tough ones in college, but in recent memory, probably Mexico City. And when you get a course like that, you just have to do whatever you can to survive, and it's kind of
Yeah.
one of those weeks where just mental toughness is a huge part of it.
Yeah, talk about the role that Sadie plays in all this. I know she's a big factor in your success, and talk about how having the support of your fiance and soon-to-be wife, how that's helped.
Yeah, she's the best. I couldn't do without her. She encourages me every single day, on good days and bad days, and yeah, she's awesome. She's a competitive person, so she wants the best for me, and she hates to see me play bad just as much as I hate to see me play bad. And even when I'm home, she's awesome. Like, she understands, hey, like, you need to go practice for 6, 7 hours, and I'll see it later tonight. And she constantly is pushing me to be better, and so I can't thank her enough. She's the best, and couldn't do without her. I think that's a huge part of this sport, is having somebody that you're going to marry or married to, that is in your corner and like truly understands this sport, because the sport is very time oriented, and so and she understands that, and so I'm forever grateful for her for that, and it means the world.
Yeah. Do you have any time off coming up, or is it pretty much year round? Is there a time where it gets slower?
Yeah, so after this week, the season is done. That doesn't mean golf's done for the year. They have fall Q school, which will go on. I think it's actually starting right now. Will go all the way into December, just random weeks out of the year. Not you're not playing every week. Depending how this week goes, will depend on what stage of Q school I go to.
Yeah.
So if I get my card, play well this week, I'll go to final stage of Q school the second week of December. If I don't, I'll go to second stage of Q school, which is the first week of December. So I've got tournaments coming up regardless in December. I will take a little bit of off time. And off time's not putting the clubs in the closet, not touching them. It's more so of like, I'm just going to give myself 2 hours instead of 7 hours out there and just try to keep it fresh, keep the mind fresh and do a lot of like stuff for my body. Traveling all this much can really put a toll on your body. So really going to try to get my body kind of in the right spot that I wanted to after this week.
Yeah, Hunter, I know that professional athletes are very much creatures of habit. Talk a little bit about your daily routine. I mean, what goes on in an average day before the competition? Because I know they're Thursday, Friday, Saturday, Sunday. So what happens during the week to get you prepared on a daily basis?
Yeah, so if you look at the week as an overview, Monday's usually an off day. That's today. Because if when we play 3 weeks in a row, if you don't take Monday off, you're not going to take a day off.
Yeah,
But I'm still going to work out, still going to go to the course, still going to prep it, like kind of do everything I need to. I'm just not going to hit balls. Tuesday's 18-hole practice round. This is kind of the work day. This is the heavy loading day. 18 holes, usually about a 3 hour practice. After that includes probably a 30-minute to 45-minute like stretch, get the body routine, and then kind of late after the round, we'll stretch and do some recovery stuff. Tuesday's the long day. Wednesday's usually a 9-hole pro-am. You play with people who help sponsor the event for 9 holes, probably practice for like 2 hours after that. And then Thursday Thursday, Fridays, pre-cut, Saturday, Sundays, post-cut, and then you're back at Monday. So when you kind of look at it in a full scale view, like your day-to-day you have to be picturing the full week, because if I was to go kill myself today, I'm not going to be well rested until Sunday. So
yeah,
yeah, I do like a 30 to 40-minute stretch routine every single day. And that doesn't even really like advance my body mobility wise. That's just keeping it in place. If I really feel like I've got to make gains, it's got to be over an hour and a half. So there's a lot that goes into it. But just at this point, late in the season, you got to prioritize rest and recovery.
yeah. I feel like that's something that, and all the athletes I've talked to, they stress as much as anything is rest. And it. I know as a coach, I felt like I was losing ground if I was taking time off, and I know that's probably got to be difficult. But Hunter, when I was dabbling in golf, it was hard for me to keep my emotions in check. I felt like I would lose my Christianity pretty quickly if I wasn't careful. Talk about how faith is at the center of all of this and how it keeps you grounded. I'm sure there's times when there's frustrations and things like that. Talk about how faith factors into all of this.
Yeah, it's huge. I don't think I could do this without my faith life, without Christ. It's like, especially in a time right now, like I've missed my last 3 cuts, and if I was if I saw my identity in this game, if I saw my identity in this world, um, I would have 3 pretty bad weeks in a row, and knowing that my identity is not in this game, and that no matter what, God's got a plan for me, it gives me confidence going into this week. Where other guys might be struggling, I feel like I'm gaining confidence going into this week, knowing that God's got a plan for me. I mean, when you're out there on the golf course, you're out there for 5 hours. It takes a minute to hit a golf shot, and you hit 72 of them. So you've got 3.5 more hours, maybe more than that, of time to yourself. And so there's a lot of downtime, and so I try to have at least 1 or 2 pieces of scripture in my yardage book that I'll look at, and then try to pray, try to see. I always pray, like, God, allow me to see your glory, see your beauty out here on the golf course, and just try to listen for birds, see animals, look at the trees, look at the plants, and just try to be present where I'm at. Because it's frustrating. You hit a bad shot and you want to get angry, but you still have to keep your head on straight and understand there's a lot more golf to be played. And if you get angry right now, it's not going to help you play your best. But there's a lot of patience that goes into it, and patience is not of me. Like one of the verses that I often go back to is Philippians 4:6. Do not be anxious about anything, but with prayer and repetition, I'll make your request known to the Lord, and the peace which transcends all understanding will guard your heart and mind in Christ Jesus. That's kind of the one that I constantly tell myself on the golf course, and forgive me if I misquoted that a little bit, but that's just kind of where my head's at, because it's a long day. Anxiety can always, go crazy, and that I just want to be out there and have fun. And kind of the reason I fell in love with the game is not for money. And so I just kind of want to constantly remind myself that, like, the reason I fell in love with the game was fun with my friends, my dad, and my parents, and then ultimately I'm outside enjoying God's creation. So if I didn't have God on this journey, I don't think I'd still be on it. It's been a tough professional realm for me. My first 2 years were tough, and then this past year, even before I won, I was in a bad spot. Like, golf game wasn't good, and I just prayed, and I was like, God, I'm just giving this to you, and just going to let the results be in your hands, and I'm just going to go out there and enjoy it. And then, I ended up winning. He doesn't always do that. He doesn't always, like, the moment you surrender, just give you great results, but it's a little bit more assuring knowing, like, hey, I finally gave it up, and, like, he was faithful. He created fruit out of my faith. So that's it's so important. I think we have an advantage as Christians out here on tour, just knowing that, like, we are always going to be grounded, and that we're not living day to day on
Right.
results. And so I think it's a huge advantage, but we don't play it. We're not Christians for the advantage. It's just, it's awesome. We have a pretty great thing out here called College Golf Fellowship, which is every Tuesday night they gather all the guys for fellowship and worship. And so it's an awesome way to stay connected in the Word while we're out here.
Yeah, that is really great. Have you found that is more of the norm? I wouldn't know what to expect on tour at the professional level. Have you found a lot of guys with faith that are similar to you?
Yeah, last summer was my first time out on this tour, and when on the Tuesday nights we'd have like 12 to 15 guys, and we've had it upward as much as 50 to 60. I
Oh,
think
wow.
God's really trying to break into golf, and we're really believing that in our Tuesday night, like, lessons and worship. We really are kind of believing that God's doing a special thing through the game of golf, and through young people all across America. But yeah, so it's not the norm, but we're hoping it becomes the norm.
Yeah, yeah, that's awesome. How many are on tour, like the PGA Americas tour? How many participants would there be?
156 each week.
Wow. Okay. And then after the cut, it's down to half that?
60 in ties, so anywhere from 60 to 75.
Okay. Yeah. So I mean, like you said, all of those know how to play the game.
Yeah.
It is very difficult. Hey, tell us as we kind of wrap this up, Hunter, what are some life lessons that golf has taught you? How does golf mirror life and faith and all that and helped you in just your approach to life in general?
Yeah, I think one thing God's kind of really teaching me right now, when I hear that question, is just like, one shot at a time. And I'm pretty good about that on the golf course, and I'm decent about that in my life. And I'm kind of learning that in my faith journey, here as of late. Like, in golf, if I hit a bad opening tee shot, I've got 17 and a half more holes to play. I can't freak out and go crazy and uproot everything that I've done for one bad swing. And the same in life. Like, if you have one bad season or one bad business review, like, you can't uproot all the process and everything that's got you there. You have to kind of just continue to weather the storm. And if it continues to happen, then you can kind of try to readjust. But you kind of just have to go one shot at a time, and one step at a time. And I like to think about it like, one step in the right direction is at least a step in the right direction. Like, it doesn't have, if you're facing kind of a monstrous task, all you have to do is make one right step in the right direction, and then it'll lead to two. And then it kind of, you kill an elephant by 1,000 cuts or something, like some word of speech like that. Like you can't try to tackle things, massively. You kind of have to do it one step at a time. And I think God's teaching me that in my golf game, or he's teaching me that in my spiritual life through golf right now. Like kind of like he's teaching me in a long, slow process. I can't see his result in a short, 2-month season. I have to see it over a scale of time. And so kind of having to believe in that and trust him in that.
Yeah, that's great advice. Anything else you want to impart, any wisdom you'd impart to the average golfer that's tuning into this, the recreational golfer, or maybe even the person who's trying to make it on tour? What advice would you give?
Yeah, I just think like golf is such a fun game, and I see it way too much with young people who are getting into the game, whether they're trying to play competitively or they're just kind of my buddies trying to get into it. It's such a fun game, and it's meant to be fun. And I think people are too frustrated. They want to be good, and they want to play to my skill level. Well, the beauty of the game of golf is, Chris, me and you can go out and play and make it fair enough between like me giving you enough shots. And I think that's the beauty in the game of like it's a level playing field for everybody with tees and shots. Like I just enjoy seeing people have fun with this game. That's the reason I love it. That's the reason my dad worked so hard to keep Greystone where it's at. And like my family will continue to always do that with Greystone, just because the beauty of the game, and we love the game and we want people to have fun. So just want everybody to have fun and to stop stressing out and stop trying to be Tiger Woods and just enjoy it a little bit more.
Yeah, that's good advice. How can we follow you on tour, Hunter?
Yeah, so all my socials are Hunter W Golf or Hunter E Walcott maybe. And then the PGA Tour Americas is on the PGA Tour app. So if you download the PGA Tour app, on the top left corner, there's going to be an icon. You just click that icon and you can switch it from the PGA Tour to the Korn Ferry Tour to the Champions Tour to the PGA Tour Americas. And so once you click on PGA Tour Americas, there'll be a leaderboard and tee times, and you can follow along that way.
Yeah, that's awesome. Hey, thanks so much for taking time out of your schedule to join us today. We'll be following you, and I just appreciate it very much, Hunter.
Yeah, thanks for having me. God bless.
Absolutely. And I want to thank everyone for tuning in. If you have a question about today's episode, feel free to email me at chris.mccurley@rippleoflight.com. If you have a specific question for Hunter, we'll forward it on to him. I'm sure he'd be willing to answer any questions you might have. And just thank everyone for tuning in. Until next time, may the Lord bless you and keep you. Sincerely, Chris.